Hello everyone. So I can start, right?
I'll introduce you, sir. Okay, good evening, NIT Trichy. Pragyan 23 warmly welcomes you to this special evening, brought to you in collaboration with Rocketeers, a company that's not just dreaming about the cosmos, but making it accessible for us to explore. For those new to Rocketeers, we are at the forefront of hands-on STEM learning, channeling the power of rocketry to ignite young minds, spark curiosity, and foster scientific thinking. Tonight, we are on the brink of a celestial revelation. Get ready to be introduced to a marvel of modern rocketry tailor-made for the budding space enthusiasts. Let's give a rousing welcome to Moonshot. Moonshot is more than just a model rocket. It's the embodiment of Rocketeers' vision. Crafted for the young and the curious, it's the ideal choice for those taking their first steps into the vast realm of rocketry. We now welcome Mr. Akash Eka, the co-founder of Rocketeers Research Institute, to present the exhibit. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. It's a great honor to be a part of this event. From the moment I got to know about this exhibition too, it created curiosity in my mind. So thank you to the IIT Madras team and allowing me and Rocketeers, my company, to be a part of this event. So I think the introduction was, I believe it made sense. I would like to give a brief, guide of what all things Rocketeers do. That will help you to understand what is the vision and what is the goal towards we are moving. So, so just a small bit of background. I am an aerospace engineer from Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology. My stream is aerospace. And the founder, my partner of this company, DIvyansh, he also is the alumni of the same college, and we're from the same batch. So the reason, or we would say the triggering of having the Rocketeers was to help enable and create rocketry ecosystems in India. So this particular word, rocketry ecosystems, this may sound which is just a common thing, but actually it is not. So what do I mean by rocketry ecosystems? So idea is that anyone, whosoever from any part of the country, if they want to have a device or build a vehicle, be it small, yes, of course, these are going to be small in the beginning, but if they are able to do that with the available resources, then we want to enable that, we want to foster that idea. And through this particular hardware, model rockets, we started out this journey. And we are very thrilled and excited at this juncture where we have completed almost 10 years since we started back in 2014. And we have covered lakhs of children's, students, research scholars, people from different walks. And we have found this very common innate thing, which someone would think that rocket is space science. There is cliche dedicated to it. It's not rocket science. But actually, it's not that far off. In our day-to-day life, we kind of do something which is triggering and which is a clear shot of what we want to do. So it basically gives wings to those aspirations in a symbolic way, if I may add. And on the other hand, it also gives you a very realistic perspective of the times of now, which is the space age we are entering. So, so my peer companies, if I have to talk about the space industry, the private space industry specifically. So our alumni, or 1 year senior from us, 2 years senior from us, actually SatSure. So there's a company SatSure which basically process images from Earth observation satellites, and on that basis they give out products. I'm just giving you a basic idea of what space industry units are. So this is a company which is very successful, and some of you may know about this company, some of you might not. But this is a company which is leading in providing downstream services to different stakeholders. So in insurance sector, manufacturing sector, and that. So there are a lot of things going on. Similarly, Dhruva Space and other entities are there. So what we feel on the core level, my would say understanding of this space industry is that there is going to be a very huge requirement for high quality human resources, uh, and like we have to fill in. And like for a moment, you would think, okay, so then we are talking about very hardcore engineering or science, pure science skill set. But that may not be the case. Actually, the world which is emerging, there are many different areas you would not have thought that this is going to be there. Say, for example, a biologist will like will have not will they are having a huge say in how this is curated. That's like how we are going to basically enable our future human resources on that. So this is just thoda sa vision part which I wanted to give you a guide tour on that. The products, if I may talk about, our primary products is model rockets. Model rockets are basically a small scalable rockets which you can design yourself, which you can assemble by simple available parts, and then you can fly them. We are the India's first solid fuel powered model rocket company. We provide different classes of engines which will allow you to estimate, design, and calculate your expected trajectory profile, and then then you can match. From an educational point of view, we do see it as a development board, just like a Arduino is for electronics geeks. They can design as many projects as they want, as they think, as they wish. Similarly, with the model rockets, we want to have that feature enabled. So therein, you can go to a open source software, just like Open Rocket. You can design a rocket within the limitations which is present on our website, the dimension limitations, I mean, and you can send that design file, and we will be like we have a table where we showcase all these rockets, and if anyone wants, they can uh, they can uh, they can get the rocket as well. So connecting this point from thinking about a rocket design and then building it, assembling it, we try to make that journey realized in the real world. So that is pretty much our. So I think the camera needs to be switched off. So yeah, so so this is something which we do. I would try to log in through my laptop and try to showcase the showreel. So Shajilin, can you help me with that? Can you, if you have the video of the long showreel which we have provided, can you just play that? I will give a tour on that. Am I audible? Yeah. So I think it's taking time for Shailin to plug in that. So I'll try to plug in from my side. Let me see what I can do. Yeah, so this is going to be a bit sort of seamless in that sense. Yeah. So I'll just give you a basic tour of our latest workshop which we had in IST, Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology. So it was a model rocketry workshop. It was a 2-day workshop. The total number of teams which were participating were close to 60. Each team had an average of 4 persons. I didn't expect that to be this easy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
So So this is captured in slow motion, but just to give you a rough idea of how we go about breaking this problem of designing your own rockets. So basically, what we do is that we make available fuels which are standard of standard impulse classes, which is basically an indicator of the power of that, which will allow you to estimate what is the minimum weight and what is the rough altitude your rocket is going to go with a motor of such kind, such of a particular class. So this allows you to, basically you have to do some some calculations to find out points in your rocket body, such as center of gravity and center of pressure. There are different ways. 10 standard student will do a basic formula which is given on 9 standard. A graduate student would probably use a calculus and they will use aerodynamic principles. So when I was saying that it is act like as a development board, I meant by that you can have any shape, any designs. Like there is a huge permutation and combination possible with the existing inventory of ours. So that is something which we definitely want to push, because in one way we are sort of trying to ignite the minds uh, in the field of space. We want to create as many possible opportunities for anyone who is anywhere, irrespective of the resources. If they want to go there is something, and we want to present it to the world. So I hope the message has gone through. And there are many other couple images. I will move on to my products just in a while. Just I'll give you a brief idea of all. So this typically goes up to a height of 400 feet with a C-class motor. We are also into high-powered rocketry. Uh, uh, so apart from rocketry, we are also official ISRO merchandise partner, which is a newly created segment wherein you can have a official authenticated ISRO logo products and other designs as well. Of course, we specialize in customization, and we have 3D printed products in for rocket scales. So, for example, we have provided to public and private entities such as Skyroot and even ISRO, where scale models are there of 1:20 or 1:30. These are 3D printed, or there are different materials in which we customize it. So just if I can show you just a small example, not sure the camera about, but so like this is a 3D printed GSLV keychain. So this falls in the merchandise part. So so actually we have like minimum amount of everything, and we want to have increase our palette. So this allows for us to invite designers. Who would have thought that designers like would be needed in space? So for example, like this particular lamp light, it's a bed light lamp light. This was designed. This is made out of ceramic, and it's a handmade. And these are like small paintings which were drawn. So these were from artists, and they provide these, and we basically curate and showcase on our platforms. So that is something I am looking forward to this exhibition, that we may have, that we will definitely find something nice to work together. Sorry, sir, if you said something, I missed it. Can you repeat? Yeah, yeah. In a moment. In a moment. Okay. So yeah. So you can see the screen, right? Hello. Can I get a confirmation? Yeah. So yeah. So basically, this is our home landing page, and there are different tickers which keeps on coming, and we actually try to match our upcoming products or new design showcasing with the launches. Any primary launches. Say for example, with Chandrayaan, we had our Chandrayaan 3 series, where different merge. When I say merge, I mean like it could be daily use activities like a keychain, or like a decor items like a lamp, or like stationery items like pen, diaries, portfolios, and even men's accessories as well. So, for example, tie pens and books and all. So we like to keep that field open, and we sort of take a lot of faith in our manufacturing process. So, in our journey of establishing something, I would still say that rocketry is difficult in India after going on this journey. There are many gaps, and like this question is important to answer. That why do we need space? Why do we need to reassess our understanding of the space? Like that, it's not only an employment opportunity for the engineers uh, all over the country, but also that there are many areas where we can be act as frontiers, each one of us. Yeah. So this is just one ticker. So there are t-shirts, of course, garments are there. This comes with customization. You can customize them, and of course these are our flagship model rockets, which are tested for flight stable, and they're available. And then there are planes. Since we are pivoted around education and gaming, we do like to keep things in a smooth way. So if you want to know more and you want to delve deeper, if you want to design a payload of yours and you want to set it up in your on your rocket and then you can fly it, we also facilitate that through our products and through our services. So many of the uh, recent big events from ISRO towards education and towards awareness requiring any hardware, we were supplied for that. So, for example, Yuvika program. Yuvika program is a ISRO official program, annual program, and where students are selected, 10th standard, 11th, 12th standards are selected across India through a rigorous selection criteria, and they get to come on important centers of ISRO. Say, for example, SHAR, ISTRAC. ISTRAC is basically, by the way, center through which Chandrayaan mission controls were routed and communicated. SAC Ahmedabad is also a very important center, and so I was also fortunate enough to work for a small stint in ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, in Liquid Propulsion System Center, Thiruvananthapuram. So these are important centers where the cutting edge technologies and as you have been seeing with the recent success of Chandrayaan 3, these ideas are developed. So we also have association with the public as well as private space sector, so that we are able to capture what it is, like what's the time. So yeah, so this is some of the products. If we come a bit of on our bottoms, so you can tell me if you want to emphasize on anything more, or if you want to speak more about any particular thing, you can let me know. Right now, actually, I'm sort of unaware of about like how long I have to speak or like what's the format. So,
Sir,
yeah.
the viewers would like you to show the model of the Moonshot rocket, if that's possible.
Okay, so the real model.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure whether it will come in the frame, but I'll give you an idea. So this is a typical model rocket. If I have to explain model rocket to someone who is hearing it for the first time, I would say that model rocket is a scale down, which means that it is scaled down 1:50, 1:60, 1:70 version of an actual rocket. Why don't I straight away call it a toy? The reason simply being is that since it's a scaled down version, almost many of the important key principles which goes into the designing, assembly, and building, the manufacturing of rockets goes into this. Say like the L by D ratio, which is the length upon the diameter ratio. There is an inherent L by D ratio range in which the rocket length and the diameter should be for it to be a stable, uh, passively stable at least. It should be. So this is our Moonshot. This is one of India's most purchased model rockets, if I have to say. And This goes up to a height of 400 feet with a C-class motor. I can just show you a motor. Give me a moment. So sorry for that. So basically, this is the C-class motor. This is basically the fuel is commonly it's called black powder, but it's a modified version of it. And it basically it has a convergent divergent nozzle, and it allows you a fixed thrust profile, which helps you to estimate and gauge your trajectory. So similarly, we have smaller like B class. So for example, young students like fifth standard and fourth standard student, that is the earliest when we get to talk to them about the combustion reaction as a key driver of this motion. So for them, like small motors are used, and this is like the whole weight of a very small rocket is in the range of 60 grams, and the heaviest rocket is in the range of 200 grams or oddly 225 grams, that sort of thing. So it stays well below the ceiling, which is accepted in India, and we also basically pushing the cause of rocketry in India. So we are asking government to create regulations around to cultivate model rocketry and like recognize this as an important activity to help students to engage in and take part in the current available opportunities. So that is also there. So you saw Moonshot. I would also like to showcase you a very small thing. Uh, Say, for example, how do we execute rocketry? Like we weren't the first ones, we aren't going to be the last ones, but we are India's uh, largest selling rockets entities. If I have to put in, of course, it's models, it's small rockets. So this is an ignition system. This is something which ensures that you maintain a safe distance from the point of launcher, which is another hardware. It's basically a level base for your rocket to be from where it basically launches off. It's a bit in height from the level so that it allows you to react if something goes off. But the safety is ensured by having an ignition system which has a connecting wire which is of 30-meter in length, so which ensures that you are minimum that much distance. And there are two levels of safety before you actually get to ignite. And you always ignite with a electrical ignition system, uh, and the igniter is basically this is what is called E-match. It's basically it has two leads. It gets connected to ignition system, and you connect and ignite, and you launch a rocket. That's exercise we have broken down into simple mechanical parts where you can follow like a goal. And once you have designed it, because once you have designed it, assembled and built it, you would definitely want to launch it. So we have made this safe as possible. The motors are commercial off the shelves. They stay within a fixed quality control regime, and we keep on bringing on upgrades for higher capacity rockets. For higher powered rockets, we are working with in space right now, where we are competing for a particular spot to provide launch services for CANSAT projects, which I am sure some of you may have heard. This is something basically InSpace is trying to do in its quest to create awareness about the space. Is that they are going to field first time in India. They are going to field CANSAT competition. This is obviously on the lines of the SAC Cup, which recently happened in Brazil, where Spaceport America. So there are many international events where high-powered rockets teams comes up and they design and they do it over a period, and there's a competition, there's an award, and there is a uh, showdown. So same sort of thing we in space is attempting, and we are trying to do our best in a sense that as since our goal is to facilitate rocketry in every way possible, we are doing that. And there are a couple of other things as well I would like to showcase. So, for example, so for stationaries, and so since I mentioned we are also on the gaming side, so we allow like we also want to have the fun side of it. So, say for example, our like people who associate with us, they are not only students or education. Sometimes random people like investment bankers, they want to fly rockets. So we want to have a both we want to take the both approach in the sense that we want to have as many people as they want, so that we want to have a smallest rocket or the low cost rocket, and to the point where if anyone wants to have their own payload of a kilogram and they want to carry to a height of 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, and they want to have it promoted and to give a message or or carry a cause. So then we also provide high-powered customized rockets. So in that sense, it allows. So I just wanted to give a peek to that side of it, that we are also into gaming, and many different ideas are like right now going on, and we will try to see and launch as many as possible. So I think
Yes,
that's
sir. So the students of NIT Trichy have some questions, so we would like to move on to the Q&A session now.
sure, sir.
Okay, so we have received questions. So the first question is, how did the name Moonshot come about, and what significance does it hold for Rocketeers?
So the naming of our rockets, if I have to give you just a brief idea, so my partner is like he still follows comics, and at the same time we also get to see the rockets which are built. So like so I cannot explain this answer without mentioning my college, which is Indian Institute of Space and Technology, where it started, where like we were like Abdul Kalam sir used to take some of the chemistry classes, and like the who's and who of space, stalwarts used to be present there and communicate with us in a casual, leisurely manner. So at those playgrounds, at those basketball courts, Rocketeers started, and when the naming of the rockets, the idea came up, so it was a like whim thing, whatever felt like a moment in that moment. So at that time, what when we were starting using the run ran the risk of just considering it as just a thing, like okay, he's using two words model rocket, what it is, or like if someone is very technical, they would like they won't be on a realistic plane, so they would talk about big rockets. So we wanted to bring that gap and like capture it. So that was a moonshot, which allowed us to make a product which was the cost thing for us was in the limit where we could expand ourselves. Remember, we were a startup back then, and we are still startup back then. We have many supporters, we have many advisors from many senior education institutes, which has helped us all throughout to you know uh, to like guide and show us the light. Yeah. So this was Moonshot story, and like this is also the meaning. And like if I have to give the trivia, this is the highest selling
Hmm.
model.
Yes, sir. That was a very good answer, sir. And we have one more question. Can you share any memorable success stories or memorable anecdotes related to Moonshot that have particularly like resonated with the Rocketeers team?
So I would say what is the most resonating thing about Rocketeers, and about I would try to bring Moonshot at the center of it. So one of the most resonating things about rockets is their launches. So since I am at the starting point in the sense that like at Rocketeers, we manufacture the engine, we procure the raw materials. What I found very interesting that you all must have noted that Indian Space Research Organization, it's a government organization, but it displays performance very unlike government organization. Like take any government organization, no, like no one is profitable. Like there are very few. Like the examples of the other basket are like many Air India, India Post. But ISRO not only like they sustain themselves nicely and they also make profit. At the same time, they keep delivering. So how does it happen? That only happens because there is a engineer guild, which or basically the spirit of exploration, and like this all comes together and they make. So we also face the same challenge that like we were developing things and we were supported by small fabricators like it could be a person who you would be calling in the evening to fix your roof. So that sort of fabricator, we adapted to that, and we try to extract maximum value. And today, all of those people are connected with us, and like they still and they live on with us with the dream that if their rocket is going to fly, our rocket is going to fly. So that is a very meaningful thing for me, and a resonating things. Just to be specific, is that key. Even though I have seen more than 50,000, I can bet, model rocket launches, and some of these were smaller, some of these were medium, some of these were larger and higher, more powerful, including the actual launches of PSLV and GSLV. We used to see tests of cryogenic engines at Mahendragiri Center, another center of ISRO. So one thing which is still every time I have that thing is that the when the rocket lifts off, that lift off, that sound, the choking is like very, very, very resonating, and I like I can't get enough. So that is one thing which I would like to mention.
Thank you very much, sir. We got one more question. So, how does Rocketeers envision the future of model rocketry, especially in educational settings?
Yeah. So I see it as a very effective, productive tool, especially students who are of science and mathematics background. Uh, it's not just about the availability of the items. It's basically a game to play. So you can have your own competitions, and you can. So the idea what we are presenting to different STEM educators and educational institutes to have rocketry as a product is that it is multidisciplinary. So if you have an avionics student or say sorry electronics student, electronics and communication. So there is a one personal collect of electronics and communication stream of NIT Trichy with me. So if you have built up a small payload which is meeting the weight criterion, say it is light, and you have it could be as simple as that you have attached a humidity sensor and a GPS, and you want to survey or map the the layers, the altitude layers of your college premise up to a height of let's say 500 feet, and you want to have that data. Uh, on the outside you would see that what is the point of it, but if you get to do it, if you will start to do it, then you will find so many problems to solve, and you will learn from them. And if you do it, then you would see the bigger picture. If you launch it, then you recover it, then you will get this layer of realization that that's how actual rockets work. Rockets are, even though they are very starry-eyed, and like there is a huge fan base of rockets, different rockets, Russian rockets, American rockets, SpaceX, and so many more, Electron, and like there's so many to mention. But after all, these are just transportation vehicles. They are just like trucks. Like the payload is important. So the avionics and electronics students can also get into that. So in totality, I will summarize that it's multidisciplinary. You can use this as a board for many different streams as well. And on top of
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We have one more question. So, the student says, I would like to know about the safety of these kits, as we have seen several situations where using such do-it-yourself rockets at home have led to some hazards. So, can you elaborate on that, sir?
Yeah, sure, sir. So this is very specific to rocketry as an activity. So as I mentioned earlier in my conversation, that we use we always use electrical ignition system, which is remote. The ignition will never happens through direct match or agarbatti. We call it incense sticks. That possibility is eliminated to a larger extent in the sense that our motors is not open. So like I think if you are trying to get a reference, Diwali rocket, you can take a reference. A typical Diwali rocket will weigh around in the range of 30 to 40 grams. It will go up to height of 200, 300 feet with a given amount of fuel. So what we have done, we have used almost three-fourths of that fuel, and we are going almost 1.5 to 2 times the height which they are going, with at least twice the weight what they're carrying. So we have applied our learnings and our time wo- working and honing on this, and so this allows you to uh, like have the different capabilities of motors. So it is commercially made, it is quality controlled, so the thrust profile is going to be in the range. So that way we make it safe. And apart from that, we actively create programs, and uh, our any message and our any offering, even our product comes with an instruction manual, which gives you a very clear idea of what are the boundaries, where do you have to do. See, Rocketeer, first one will have to understand Rocketeers is an outdoor activity. Once you warm up to that idea, then you will obviously start giving attention and focus to safety aspect of it. That you need to have a perimeter, you need to have that. So we always try to inculcate that activity. So in all the workshops where we just don't let students to come and launch it. So we make them understand what is the importance of safety, what is the process of initiating the launches, which is uh, which is based on our observation and our what we have understood mapping this country all over, to engage with different students. So in that sense, it is pretty safe, and there are no reported or occurred minor or major incidents with this up till now. Our track record is pretty nice in that front. And but at the same time, I wouldn't say model rocket is completely safe. It is not safe. You have to be aware. You have to come up with a certain sense of discipline. You cannot play around. If you want to play around, you don't go into the propulsion. You just read the civil structure, or you design your avionics in that sense. So there are many things. One will have to go a bit deeper than I can answer in this short time.
Thank you very much, sir. We have received one more question. So, could you elaborate on the thought process behind the absence of a recovery mechanism in this rocket?
Thought process behind the absence of recovery mechanisms for model rockets. That's the question.
Mm. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So see, it's not a thought process. It is just that it's a block. It's a block. There is no one to stop you from designing your own recovery systems and using it in a model rocket. Uh, if you ask specifically Rocketeers as a company, why doesn't we have? So right now we are actually trying to gauge and absorb in a lot of different needs and requirements from people, students, young students, old students, and we are coming up with a big upgrade in which we are allowing students to fill the gap of the hardware.
Mm.
So mechanism is something which is coming very soon. Like the next upgrade, which is going to be available from our end, is going to be a recovery mechanism, which will basically allow you to help attach a parachute or a streamer, whatever you want to attach, which will eject or come out at the peak altitude of your rocket, which you will have to again estimate and calculate. So that's a part where the DIY is. DIY is not just the hardware, but also the calculation part. You make your own rocket, you design it, you design a rocket which is aerodynamically so stable that you can basically use it to your desired trajectory, point A to point B.
Yes, sir. And we have received one more question. So, with space tourism becoming a reality, do you see Moonshot playing a role in inspiring the next generation of space travelers?
Yes, yes. Recently, I heard a report from Indian Space Congress, which which was held recently. So one of the key sustaining drivers for space sector to be as real as it can is the driving factor is going to be space tourism. Uh, First of all, comprehending this term space tourism is like will will require you to indulge. So yes, definitely it is an important space tourism as a segment in space sector. If I have to say, Moonshot or any model rocket, if I have to say, Moonshot allows you the functionality. So see, it's basically open canvas. As I mentioned earlier, it's a development board. Right now, you and me are talking, and there are a few listeners. Uh, all of us will have a different design, different philosophies, and like you can combine them and make your own rocket. Moonshot is our name. You can have your own Moonshot, and as one of our trust goals is that we want to enable human resources for Mars settlement. So Moonshot is one step, one milestone, and then we have to move on to the next milestone. So in that regard, rockets are going to come. Interesting rockets are going to come.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that amazing session, sir. We are now well and truly fascinated by rocketry and moonshot. So this brings us to an end to the question answer session. And this is Sri Vijayaraghav Srinivasan from Team CPT signing off, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.